We've got Zealous in Missouri, who is saying, just want to talk about the existence of God being logical, and wants to use another analogy. So, Zealous, let's talk about the existence of God.
Hey, what's up, boys? What's up? What's happening? Basically the existence of God, like, to me, I think it's very, very stupid logically. Like, it's reasonable to me to give the analogy of a game system or an Oculus or anything that delves into another realm from one realm to the next, seeable and unseeable and stuff like that. Because so this is what I'm gonna say. After being into animation and stuff like that, and all this stuff, this virtual reality stuff, before it was all popular, whatever, just studying it, I was like, dude, is that not like the analogy of our own being right now? Like, we come from a realm that we did not even know about. We never, we didn't exist there, but there was particles put together to make us come to existence, in the order. So I'm thinking,
So Zealous, if I understand you right, the more that we have purported evidence towards things, or the more that we learn about the world around us, right, the more things that creep in, right, the more things that we start to know. I mean, that's we don't start from knowing everything. So clearly you have to get to this point, and some of that knowledge that creeps in is going to be, whoa, okay, this is not what I expected. And then if you use like the virtual analogy or virtual reality, which, by the way, I have an Oculus. I love video games and specifically virtual reality. So I like that example. This is kind of like Plato's example of the cave. He has this idea where there's people locked up or chained together from birth, and one of them, throughout their whole life, all they see are shadows of people walking by, casted by the firelight, right? So all they ever see are these 2D shadows and shapes on the wall. And one day, one of them breaks free and goes outside the cave, right? Blinded by light, sees that there's depth, that there's color, that there's three-dimensional shapes, right? And he rushes back in and tells the other prisoners, there's this whole world out there that's, right, it's three-dimensional, it's got all this stuff that's what's being casted as shadows is not the real reality. And they all laugh, right? What are you talking about? That's not been presented. That could be the case, right? There could be some scenario which we're not prevalent to, but the problem is you have to actually demonstrate it. The difference is, right, you're rational in believing that once that person demonstrates to them, hey, look, here's the real world, right? Because it actually manifests itself in reality. Religious claims don't do that. They just hide in this category of it being hidden. Yeah. So there's like this sliver of hope that maybe it exists, right? But the problem is I can do that with any claim I want that hasn't been proven. It can hide in that category, right? That's the problem.
It can. Okay, so I know what you're saying, because you can go into allegories, different type of analogies to like attach it to that. Yeah, that makes sense. And so many moral lessons you can like tie to any lie to that situation. But we're talking about realities. We're talking about the biology. That everything that makes us a human is being imitated by this realm. And it's not, even though anybody can make an attachment to something. But what I'm saying to you, this is like one of the closest to match with the physical realm, the game realm and the physical realm. And
you mean like simulation?
Analogy, but not to be, I don't want to make it seem like everything is everything. I don't want to do that. I'm specifically saying this because there's an argument being said, in the atheist world and the theist world. They're both saying, one of them is saying there's no God, there's no possible evidence for him, or how we even know if there's even evidence.
Right? So me and Kenneth both don't hold that position though. So let's stop right there. Like, look, I'm a Gnostic atheist. Real fast, Zealous. Yeah. I'm a Gnostic atheist, which means I don't think gods exist in all the conceptions or God hypotheses that have been presented to me. I'm a Gnostic atheist, but I have to be agnostic towards some conception that you could just make up right now, because I can't know. I don't have a logical contradiction in the concept of God to give to somebody, and so that's not the case. We merely have we just don't accept the proposition that the God exists. But if you tell me that the Christian God exists, I'll go further and say that God doesn't exist, and I can demonstrate that to you through various or a myriad of different.
Zealous. I'd like to try to just break this call down to the simplest possible terms. Okay, just because we are starting to run a little bit short on time, and I just want to try to tighten this up. Okay,
I don't feel like I'm part of the conversation. Really, half of it, because we kind of said a little bit, and you guys ran with it for a little bit. I really wanted to just make
right. So that's what I'm doing is I want to return to the original thing here and give you an opportunity. So it sounds to me like what you're saying is that it's like, wouldn't it be interesting if reality is like a video game and God is the person playing the video game? And if that's what you were saying, wouldn't that be interesting?
No.
I would be like, you have to listen. You have to listen. If that was what you were saying, I would be like, yeah, that'd be interesting. But what it says here on the call screening thing is that it is logical to say that God is like the person playing a video game, and that is the reality that we are all in. And I don't know how you would establish that as being the case. Is that what you're saying? Is that God is like a person playing a video game of reality?
Not exactly. I was saying God would be like the creator in my analogy. What you're saying could be entertained, but not. Okay. But you could, what I'm saying is that one could exist outside of the physical realm, the known realm that we know.
We have a demonstration. Wait. Zealous, we have a demonstration of that?
Zealous, let me make sure I understand what you're saying. It sounded to me, Zealous,
ask the question.
Zealous, hang on. I got to ask you this. So it sounded like what you just said is that it's possible for a creator God to exist somewhere outside of reality. Is that what you just said?
I believe they can do both. Yes, believe both. Yeah.
Both what? What are the both?
The both is going in and out of different realms. Like, for example, like what we talked about was the Oculus a little bit. And it could be that we late and delayed in what we know right now, because we were not the pre-existing. And this being we right on this pre-existing state, he probably had foreknowledge way before we even had our Oculus or even come into existence. Because we have a gradual thing.
I'm sorry that I keep butting in, but I have to kind of control the show. So you're making claims about what could be and about what's probable with respect to an entity that exists outside of reality, but then can also exist within reality. And my only question for you, the big question is, how do you know that thing could exist?
Oh, then I jump from that realm, just knowing that it's very possible based on our latency of intelligence and stuff like that, but still giving us credit. But I jump from that to specifics, like what you talked about when it comes to Christianity, right? Or any other religion.
You're 10 steps ahead of answering the question. I'm just asking you really, really simply and straightforwardly. How do you know that this God could exist?
Zealous, you didn't answer the question.
You got to slow down, man.
If you let me answer it, I'll actually say it like out of respect for real. This happens in Clubhouse too. It's like, I know we don't know each other. That's the reason why we're not able to actually know if that person knows.
No, there's a difference. This is a show.
All I'm asking you to do is just answer the question. So
I want to give you the floor, and we're trying to keep it on track.
Yeah, I want to give you the floor so you can answer the question. So just again, the question is, and when you're talking, you're not hearing what I'm saying. The question is, how do you know this God could exist?
Brother, that's if you let me answer it, I will answer it.
So answer it.
What I call it.
Then answer it. Just answer it.
It should start with because and then
answer the question.
Yeah.
Because
why?
Okay, so
if the next words out of your mouth aren't answering the question, I'm dropping the call. How do you know this God could exist?
Okay. All right. Because first of all, when you deal with the let's see. So you have physical evidence. You have physical evidence for the stories in the Bible. For example, the things that he said that would happen in the Old Testament, not just would happen, but that has happened, which is archaeology, and also interpersonal evidence and stuff like that.
All right, hold on, Zealous. I'm not going to let you glance over that. Hold on. No, I deny that. You say when you look at things, no, I look at things at the Bible, I see claims. That doesn't get you to look. You said it's logical to get you there, which presumes that there's some inference that you could follow that gets you there. And Kenneth asked, how do you know that? So what's that inference? You can't just say the book says a thing that doesn't do anything for a non-believer. They're just gonna go, seriously?
It sounded like you said there's evidence from the Bible. So what would be
the most skeptical person? I understand.
What would be an example?
Is grant a little bit of understanding of what I'm about to say. I'm not going to fly off. I got to make the statement and then actually justify it. And that's why you gave me the opportunity. When I said that, it hit a nerve because it has to be justifiable. If I get to go through it a little bit, that's why I was going through breaking it down. Archaeologically, these stories, a lot of things that's in the Old Testament, not everything, but I would say they're just documenting stuff. But when they have
give me one example. Because of time constraints, Zealous, give me one example.
I talk too fast, I guess. That's what it is. I talk too fast.
No, it's all good. Just give me one example.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I literally said it. If anybody was listening, I said Red Sea Chariot.
You said archaeological. You said archaeological.
Hang on, Jmike. So you're saying, did you say Red Sea chariots?
Yeah, and this is only one, but this is not even without skepticism. This is not even without skepticism. Skepticism will be invited after the claim and after people research. Now, this is what I believe about skepticism and also making the claim. Anytime when it comes to atheists and theists and stuff like that, anytime someone makes a claim, I'm not going to put down anybody that's going to skepticize it, because you have to do the skepticism step. You have to. So but what I'm saying to you is this. I feel like from watching this, being an alien here on this earth, watching people, I see after the claim is made, this is what I'm saying. I'm just saying, after the claim is made, it seems like people automatically assume this doesn't exist because somebody doubted it. The point of doubt does not make something not exist.
Zealous, that's not what anybody is saying. What we're saying, nobody's saying. I doubt that your claim has been Zealous, real fast. I'm not gonna let this go past. You can't straw man the position and go, because a person might doubt what is said, that it doesn't exist. That's not the position, right? The position is that it either is substantiated or it isn't, and I'm rational in accepting it.
We need to break this down to an even simpler place. So Zealous, hang on, buddy. I want to help you out. So okay, so a moment ago, let's just keep this super simple, okay? Because we are very short on time. So you said Red Sea chariots. Are you under the impression that chariots were found at the bottom of the Red Sea?
No, I'm under the impression of studying it and then also the scientists reporting it.
Okay, so that's just a simple yes. So let me just go down this track with you. Okay. So
if we stop at each point, we have to stop at each station. That's good. But just know there's more detail to everything. It's not
Zealous. I'm muting you because you're going down a rabbit track, and this is so simple. Okay, what I'm about to do with you. Okay, so whether or not I believe you or not, let's say for the sake of discussion that chariot components, let's say a whole bunch of chariots, full chariots, were found in the bottom of the Red Sea. What does that have to do with a God existing?
Hello?
Yeah, Zealous, I asked you a question. If they found chariots at the bottom of the Red Sea, what does that have to do with a God existing?
Okay, so what it has to do with the God existing, with this God specifically, I believe there's one God, but what it has to do with it, I believe that if he says elements were involved, I'm going to say this very quick, and then I'm going to say a little small point, and then I'm going to give it back to you. But I'm going to say if there's elements involved, whichever elements those are, in a location, a specific location, and there's catastrophic events like Sodom and Gomorrah and Red Sea chariots and stuff like that. If they're saying these things are here, God did this and that, and it's about the details that makes it weird or makes it like very majestical or crazy or unbelievable, or
Zealous. How do you get from hang on, buddy, hang on. How do you get from there are chariots at the bottom of a Red Sea to God did it?
Oh yeah, for us in the Bible, he gives details. It's not just all in the air. It's about the details.
Zealous.
No, we
How
know
do you
that's, we
get
know that's the
Zealous?
claim.
Zealous. How do you get from there are chariots at the bottom of a body of water to God did it? How do you get there?
Am I okay? Am I okay? I'm not muted. Okay. So how do I get there? By the Bible, basically.
Yeah, but that's the
Okay,
claim.
let me
No,
ask you.
that's
Hang
the
on, hang on,
claim.
hang on. How did you rule out a boat crossing the Red Sea carrying chariots sinking?
You said a boat?
Yep.
Well, I don't.
A chariot salesman is traveling across the Red Sea and his boat sank, and there are chariots. There are ancient Egyptian chariots at the bottom of the Red Sea. How did you rule out a boat sinking?
A boat sinking. I don't know what you're talking about. A boat sinking. I didn't rule it. So okay. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay. So this is good. This is good. Thank you. Okay. So now, for me, what I've seen from the story is not just about chariots in the bottom floor. It's more details. It's about the Okay. So in this, please stop calling me. Okay. In this, on the other side, on the Nueva Beach. Across the other side, Solomon puts the pillars there, and he tells you this is where it's at. Then where they cross over. Okay, just dig with me very quick on this one, and I'm trying to get this done very quick. But on each side of this drop, there's a 300 feet drop in the water. This is what they was able to see. This is the scientists get to see this. A 300 feet drop on each side, and a 300 feet lift in the middle where they found it at. Now just suppose this. If they was like a mile over or so, or whatever, or a couple miles over to the right, they would have went into all type of bottomless, like not bottomless, but just mountains. A 300 feet drop would have been
right. But this is the deal, and we're running so short on time, Zealous. But this is important because here's what you've done. You're making claims, okay? You're saying chariots were found at the bottom of a body of water, okay? But you are not doing anything to demonstrate how those chariots got there or how you figured out that other candidate explanations aren't what happened. You're doing nothing to get from chariots to God.
But
yeah,
I'm being controlled in the doing something.
Yeah, can I just add one thing, by the way, that's important to this. You said it's an archaeological discovery. Have you actually just Googled whether or not that's
I've done more than most people.
So then you would know that the source of where that comes from is from a website that's not of archaeological.
No, it's not a website.
Basis.
It's actually it's a group of people. It's people, not just a website. I don't do websites only. This is actually you can find this with sites. It's one of
So
okay.
what Jmike is doing, I was tempted to do, but this is the deal. Because listen, I'm just going to say it.
I would just say Google
you say
it.
Jmike.
Yeah. My point is what this comes from. At least if you're talking about the chariot wheels, it comes from a claim made by World News something organization. I can't remember. It's a World News Daily Report.
A bullshit website.
Website, and they use terms like Egypt's antiquities mystery. Listen, real fast. I'm not done. They make claims, and they say in the article that like Egypt's and antiquities ministry, like they use terminology to get people that go, oh, that sounds about right. And then they believe in it because they already believe. Look, you already believed in this.
This is it.
You did not stumble upon this and then go, oh, this proves Jesus. You're doing what's called post hoc rationalizing, right? You're already believing this thing, and then a source that, by the way, is demonstrably false and is fake has convinced you that there's actually these things. Which, by the way, to a bigger point, which is Kenneth's point, is that there's no logical inference from chariot wheels to God or full-fledged chariots. Like, you still have the question of how do you not know of any other circumstance where the same result could happen, right? There's no logical inference to supernatural God, which, by the way, the call screener put that this was a logical thing to God. You've not provided the inference. So I don't know where the logic is.
Okay,
but.
So I get what you're saying. I'm glad you made closure with that. That makes a lot of sense. You're saying it. You can't rule out. Okay, I love how you said that. You said do not rule. Okay, what made you rule out somebody losing chariots on a boat or something like that? That was good. I love that. That's where I could work from. But again, I know you have to put the case on the table in order for it to be on the table at least. And if somebody keeps wiping off the table, that's cool. But at least know that this is the understanding of this and that. I didn't read some kind of article, what you just read, or whatever you guys have with that. There's more studies about this. So when it comes to not just this, it's more other stories, like the Sodom and Gomorrah stories. Believe me, as a skeptic, I can write off anything. I'm a pro at being a skeptic. It's very good. But I'm telling you,
don't jump to Ron Wyatt. Please don't jump to Ron Wyatt. Have you been reading or listening to Ron Wyatt?
Yeah, I didn't even. But that's presumption right there. That's presumption. But again, people that are part of it, you can't just criminalize people that are part of stuff. You know,
I'm just asking you: is Ron Wyatt your source for Sodom and Gomorrah stuff?
No, actually, the guy who I actually was watching was I don't even know his name actually. But a lot of the findings, you can't criminalize the person of the finding and stuff like that. This is open to so many people. If you what do you call that? What did Martin King say? I think you. Not what he's. But anyway, basically, if you criminalize somebody, you make someone look at as a bad person, or just like, hey, atheist, stay away from this guy because you know why? He fights against what we actually, believe in, what we go against. We're skeptics against him. So all right, let's go against him.
We're going to end on this. What is? Give me in 30 seconds or less. Give me what's the evidence for Sodom and Gomorrah? Is it pillars of salt?
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Is it sulfur in the ground?
No, it's not just sulfur. Basically, I feel like based off, like when I debated Islam, they didn't have evidence for the things that they said was there. They said that this and that was there. It wasn't even there.
None of you guys have evidence for the things you claim.
No,
yeah, they are just as convinced as you are. Isn't that interesting?
Stop calling the
Christianity, you can't treat them the same. Because
I can't treat them the same. They both have no epistemic merit. What are you talking about?
I feel like the worst theist is the person who says that something is there, and they say something is there, and the elements are not even really at least there on the table. Like right, me, it's already scary to say that there's a God that did all this stuff, and then go research it. That's even more scarier. Because
it's not about being zealous. This is not about being scary. Look. Let's go back to pillars of salt or whatever, right? You think there's evidence to prove the claim. The problem is it's really simple. It's really simple. People can write down things that actually happened. They can go, oh, you know what? There's this. There's Judea. There's this place over here, right? They can write down things, and we could go back and go, oh, okay, it's the case that this thing existed. So, somebody right now could go, or 1,000 years from now, could say that there was some like big explosion, and it was so big it reached during a Talk Heathen call. It started in Atlanta, where I live, and then it traveled all the way where Kenneth is at, right? And it obliterated the show, and it was over, right? In that radius. And we could point out when somebody goes, well, there was a Jmike, there was a Kenneth, there was a Talk Heathen, there was an Atlanta, Georgia. Like none of that would actually, once we find those elements, wouldn't substantiate the claim that there was this big explosion that engulfed us, right? That would just be an entirely separate thing.
A real easy way to do this is to say someone could in the future could look back at New York City and they could find a Spider-Man costume.
Exactly.
And then look at the Spider-Man comics, and that Spider-Man costume is not evidence that Peter Parker fought Dr. Octopus on the Brooklyn Bridge, right? You know, see what I'm saying? So look,
we presume that is already false already, that is just a cartoon or something similar like that. And that's already presuming that it's already in
the presumption is not that anything is false. The presumption is not that anything is false.
I'm saying to you, we're dealing with our reality. We're not dealing with the comic book. We're dealing with stuff that's element.
I beg to differ that we're dealing with a comic book.
We're trying to deal with reality. So listen, we got to wrap the show, but yeah, this is the whole thing. All right, is that the arguments that you're trying to make here, like Mike said, there's no inference here. You're not tying the evidence or lack thereof to a conclusion. Okay, so we got to wrap. So thank you